So greetings, this is Edward Ojambo. In this tutorial, I'll show you how you can create QR codes for multiple occasions. Now, this is brought to you by the Learning PHP course on ojamboshop.com. Basically, QR codes are a convenient way to share product information with customers. So in this video, I'll guide you through the process of creating QR codes that can be used to access product details, specifications, even interactive content. The Libqrencode library will be used to encode data in a QR code. So in future tutorials, I'll show you also how to decode the actual barcode. So that could be a QR code. For example, one use case in mine is that I know this is kind of old-fashioned, but for example, if you have a business card, you can put a QR code for your website right on it. Another thing you can also do, you can maybe put your phone number there as well. For example, if you're a real estate agent. Another use case is, for example, these days, if I meet someone and, I mean, it doesn't really matter these days because you have things like NFC and stuff, but I'm saying is if you want to share information quickly, if you had a QR code, people can, for example, people say, hey, go to my website. What is your website? My website is ojambo.com or ojamboshop.com or ojamboservices.com. Or you see if I have a QR code ready, either run on my phone or a piece of paper or something, I can provide that to you. And you just scan it on your phone, a device, you'll be able to get to the special URLs very, very quickly. So right now, if you're on Odyssey, you can chat. I'm available for chatting. So you can just ask anything related to tech. So if you need consultation, I'll be able to answer that during the live tutorial. So if you want to see more live streams, what I've done is I have this watch menu. You go to live and you can see I have the upcoming live streams and what channel they are. So for example, this one right now, which is generate QR codes using this library on Odyssey. You see the estimated date and time. So when you actually go to the article, during the actual or before the actual live stream and during it, you see something like this. So you'll be able to actually link. For example, if I click this, you see it'll take you the Odyssey link and you'll be able to log into Odyssey and actually chat live. So the other option is obviously if you scroll down, you see the live stream video. You can click this. If I click this, you see this is actually going live. So you also be able to follow along live as well during the live stream. So be sure to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments for more frequent content. So basically, I want to tell you that what is a barcode? So a barcode, in the old school type barcodes were literally called 1D barcodes. That means that the data was scanned in a linear sequence. So these are still in use today. For example, when you see most products like boxes, you'll see there will be just a square or rectangular shape. That barcode, that's still a 1D. It just has a bunch of bars. You see right here, a series of vertical lines and spaces which various widths to encode the data. So the problem with that is because it was 1D, it was very constrained. If you couldn't put too much information, you'd have. That's why you also see some boxes. They have so many barcodes because each of them just has limited amount of data. So these days you have the 2D barcodes. For example, the most popular ones are the QR code and the Aztec code. So the QR code, as I explained before, that's what we're going to create today, is these are called matrix barcodes because they can contain alphanumeric and binary data. So here another example which we'll actually do today is you can create a vCard. That's the address book entry. So you can put that into the QR code. You can't do that on the 1D one. So that's why we'll focus mostly in this tutorial just on QR codes. In a future tutorial, we'll also do the Aztec code, and I'll show you also how to read this using how to detect and actually extract the information from the barcodes. Okay, So just to let you know that this library we're going to use today, it doesn't contain a GUI. It's just a command line tool. In a future tutorial, I'll use one which does contain a graphic user interface. But this is good also because you need to, for example, if you're scripting or programming, you can use a tool like this because it's a library. So you can embed into your program and you could be able to create your own QR codes on demand if you need to, without using any third-party service. Just you create your own. So as I explained for what is 1D, it's one-dimensional or linear, and 2D. There's two-dimension developed using geometric patterns such as rectangles, dots, and hexagons. And what is a data matrix? So that's the two-dimensional barcode, generated patterns of square modules. And what's a vCard? As I already explained this is a virtual contact file, VCF. It's a file format standard for electronic business cards. I said usually it's has an address, phone number, your email address. You don't have to put everything in there, but I'm saying that's usually if you want to. Then that will go into the people's digital address book. So what we're going to do today is we're going to create both types. We're not going to create a 1D barcode, but I'll just show you how we can have a QR code which is obviously 2D. And it will contain one will contain a URL, and another one will contain a as I said, the vCard. Okay, so let's actually quickly look at this Libqrencode library. So this is the home page of it. It's on Fukushi's website. He also has a GitHub repository as well. So as you can see here, it's a fast and compact library for encoding data in the QR code symbol. It's a 2D symbology that can be scanned by handy terminals such as a mobile phone with CCD. The capacity of QR code is up to 7,000 digits or 4,000 characters and has high robustness. So this depends also on your, for example, I'm on Linux. If you're on a Unix type system, whether it's a Mac or BSD or actual Unix systems, is that it's by default, you encoded in UTF-8. So if you're using another one, for example, Windows by default, it's UTF-16. So then the character length could be, could be a little bit more or a little bit less. Just be aware of that. So if we go to the GitHub repository, this is this is the GitHub page for this library, and the releases here. So if we go down here, it shows you how you can install this and what the requirements are. And I don't see anything. So you should be able to build this from scratch if you don't have. But normally, if you install a package manager such as Brew, which Brew is now cross-platform compatible, you'll be able to install all operating system, at least the desktop ones. I'm talking about your Mac OS, Linux, and Windows. I already have this in the distribution. I'm using Fedora Linux. I just did DNF install QR encode. I didn't have to put the lib here, and it installed it for me. So for example, if we go to the actual releases, let's go to releases. I think he only releases them. Yeah, he also releases the source code. So if you get it from the GitHub, you'll be able to, you need to compile them yourself. Okay. Now, there are a lot of options. For example, you see this one 4.1.0. You can also now use ANSI 256 color. Okay. So now let's head over to the command line so we can actually get started on this. I don't know if I mentioned, be sure to subscribe, like, follow, leave comments for more frequent content. Okay, so let's head over to the command line now. I'm going to show up the command line here, and I'll generate some QR codes. I'll show you which ones are generated here. Okay. So let me zoom in here. So if you guys if you're watching this on your phone, you'll be able to, I'll open up the QR code, make it a little bigger, and you'll be able to scan it. You see it's a viable, I mean, it's a real QR code. So the default is simply to type QRN code. Then this actually, let me go to the man Let's look at the manual first. QRN code. Make this a little bit bigger. We can make this smaller. Oops. Yeah, I don't need that big, so I'll make it small. So this way I can make this one bigger, so you see what I'm doing. No. Okay. All right. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit. So okay, there we go. So you can see you can encode data in QR code and save it as a PNG or EPS for image. So this is the synopsis. You just type in, and obviously the file -o, and then the output name. So it can be a PNG file, ESP file, EPS file. So it explains this here. So basically, just have the file name, and then you can also read from a file. You can specify the size, basically like the dimensions. See, it goes by dot pixel. The default is 3, and that's perfectly fine by me. And then you can also do other things like the margin. This is for the border. And the number here, this is the width. And number DPI, generating the PNG. The default is 72, that's fine. Especially for the web, 72 is perfectly fine. And then T here. So you can have a PNG, PNGB32, ESP, SVG, X. Oh, I didn't realize you could do all this. And this is the ANSI 256, so it looks like you can do more. I'm guessing this are all encoded in the PNG or EPS. So EPS is I believe it's a vector, if I'm correct, vector image format. So SVG. So those are very similar. And what else? You can make structured kanji characters, case sensitive. You can ignore case 8-bit, and so on and so forth. Oh, this I guess it grabs it from an SVG file to output as a PNG or a EPS file. And then so let's, and you can see here examples on how to do all these different things. Okay, so the copyright, as you see, it's by Fukishi. You didn't put the license here. Actually, that's weird. Let's actually find out what license this is on. Let's go back to the main page. Oops, usually the license is up here. Interesting, there's no license. Let me just go to the article. I did find the license. I want to see what license he's using. Yeah, it's open source. The license in the LGPL. So that's the GNU Lesser General Public License. It is a copyleft license. If you don't know what that means that there's strict rules and requirements to enforce the software remains free and open source. Okay, so I believe it was here that I found the information about the license. I did find it somewhere. I can't remember. Oh yeah, here it is. See, GNU LGPL. Okay, now let's go back here to the command line. I'll get out of here. So if you want to know the version of the one I'm using, I'm sure you just saw it there in the manual page, but you just type that and you see it's version 4.1.1. That's the latest version that you saw on GitHub. The GitHub releases as well. So it's by Kentaro Fukushi. Sorry, Kentaro Fukushi. There we go, got it. Okay, so let's begin. Let me minimize this again so you can see what I'm doing. So pay attention here. So what we're going to do is we're going to create one of the simplest ones. So say QRN encode, and we're going to output it to QR code 1.png, and it will be https or jambo.com. So you see generated the image here. I'm gonna it's actually a little bit bigger, so if you take this and put it on your phone, you'll be able to see that it will, I mean, depending on the type of QR code reader you have, Usually if it's on a phone, it will ask you if you want to open that link, and obviously you do because it's a link. This is just https or jumbo.com. So if I zoom in here, if I would let me, oh, here's the zoom. So if you notice, remember the matrix, so you have this square, the squares, and then there's a border, there's a little border inside those squares. So the data is actually formed in this weird little, like a dot matrix. Remember, if you guys were old enough, remember back in the 80s, the dot matrix printers, personal printers, that's the same thing. It's just dot, dot, dot. So that's literally what a QR code, the dot matrix is. It just codes it in that, and you can just decode it, which we'll do in a future tutorial. Actually, just the tutorial coming up literally tomorrow. Okay, so this is the HT. So if I do this now, if I create the one, I can also do one in EPS. EPS. So the reason I don't use EPS is because I said these are. If you look at the size, it's 341. What's this one? Oh, they're both the same. So EPS is, I believe it's a text. It's a text file. So I should be able to open that up. QR code 1.eps. Oh, I was wrong. Okay, so it looks like it's it is a format that compresses. Okay, so let's clear that. Okay, looks like it's a bitmap is what I meant to say. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is, you see we created this one here. What we want to do is we want to increase the border. So we can also do that. You just type encode M10 O QR code 2.png. So we'll do the same thing we did before, https or jumbo.com. So if we compare this to, you should be able to visually, you see what happened here? It increased the border. You see now this one is highly compressed, but if I'll open this up as well, and I'll zoom in. You see, it's still the same. The pattern should still be the same. I'll zoom in this one as well so you can see. You see, nothing changed. They're exactly the same. The difference is this one, I increased the border, as you saw. I increased the border for obviously the top margin, or bottom and top. So that's how you do it. So there are many options. I'm not going to touch on them. So there's even color. I'm not going to touch on that in this one. So one thing I would like to see is, like, for example, what if I want to increase the border width and height? Remember, the only thing I did was just increase the width. So this time I'm going to increase the height as well. So we'll do that. I should have left those open, but you should be able to visually see it here. So let's do that. QR encode S4. Remember, the default is 3. Remember, that's why I increased this to 4. The default is set to 3. The size is usually set to it's set to 3. Remember when you check the manual? So I'm increasing it. QR code 3.png https or jumbo.com. Now we should see a difference. You can see, so this one is very different from, I'm sure you can see it's very different from the first one. So if I open this up, but again, it's the same. You see that it's, let me zoom in here. Oops, too much. Maybe I'll make this a little bit bigger. Come on, GNOME. Seriously? Come on. Okay, there we go. Now I'll open up the second one so you can see the difference. Make this bigger as well. You can see here, you see this? This one is bigger. And look at the size. This is 180 by 180. This one was 135 by 135. So you can increase the size if you want something bigger. So the size 4. So if I wanted even big, remember the 3 is the default. So if you use S, you can make it as much bigger as you want. So this is the border. This is the border, the size of the border, basically what's around it. Surrounds it. Okay, so now, as I said, all this can be read in your QR scanner, whether it's on a phone or you have a dedicated scanning device. So one thing I want to do is I want to show you the difference. I'm going to actually do the last command here, and I'm going to change it just so you can see visually the difference. So you see the URL here, I'm going to type www.ojambo.com, and you will see, you can see already there's a big difference. I don't know if, okay, I'll make it bigger here so you guys can see. Can you guys tell the difference? If you just look at the top here. Let me zoom in a little bit. Just look at the top. You can see there's a difference. This is the last one we just did, and I'll zoom in this one as well. You can see the top here. You see this one is like what do you call it, a straight line, and you see here the line is broken. That's because I typed the www. So that's a simple way you'll be able to tell that they're different, even though they all link to the same place, www.ojambo.com, and the other one is just ojambo.com. Okay, so let's do something more fun. So as I promised, what if you want to share something else? You want to share like an address. I can create this on a command line, but I can also create it in a text editor. So now I'll create in text editor. Yeah, I'll create in text editor. Okay, well, I'll create it both ways. So you can, so I'll explain this. I'll open up in a text editor and explain it. It'll be easier to explain it. What happened to this off screen? Oh, here it is. Okay, here. This is just a text. So open up in a text editor. Now zoom in. I'll explain. So when you have vCards for version 3, this is version 3, you need to type begin and then you need to end. So you this is the encapsulates whatever is inside. So it's begin colon vcard. So you need at the end you need to put end vcard. So begin and end. Simple enough. Okay. Then you need to put the version. So version 3.0. Simple enough. FN stands for full name. So full name, this is the standard. Full name colon, and obviously I put my name, Edward space Ojambo, and then here the N. This is another way to put the name here so it can be split up. So I'll explain what that means. So what that does is the N, it means that this is the last name. You see this is my chosen delimiter. So it's Ojambo here, and then Edward is the first name. So it will know that Edward is first name, Ojambo is the last name, and then this means that this 1, 2, 3 are related to the name or full name. Okay. It means the fields are separated. That's what it means. Sorry, it means the fields are separated. So then here we have the email. Or another way to think of this is I don't have any abbreviations or anything like that. Just think of it that way. Okay, and here we have the email, and the type, it's the home. I guess I could have put business. It's internet. This is something left over from, I think way back. I think this was added probably in the 90s, and this is because these days, right? I mean, people can have more than one email address, which it does allow, but I'm surprised like this is usually the default. Anyways, so you put your email address in there, and you notice I actually didn't need a delimiter here. And then after that, so the comma is a bit one only for the fields. Then down here, and this one is for the data. So URL, I put https://ojambo.com. And that's it. So there's more stuff. You can put like your address, you can put your telephone number, but I wanted just something simple. And I wanted just something simple. So as I said, you can just write it. It's just a text file. That's literally all it is. So you could just write it. You can write whatever you want. I said that it's a standard. The vCard is a standard. just be aware of depending on the stuff you might want. It might depend on what version you use. Okay, so this is it. Now I'm going to create a V card and encode it inside a QR code. So now I could have put this on the same line, similar to this one here. You see how we did this? You could have did, but you need to escape characters, and sometimes it might not work, and it's a pain. So the way to do this is very simple. I am going to use I don't remember if QR encode had I don't know if they had, I don't know if there's a reader to read the files. Is there? Oh, you can. So you can use R. So we'll do both. So it's R. Okay, so let's actually try that. QR encode. I'll say address 1.png R, and our file is vcard. It says no output file name is given. Oh, oops. Okay, so it created it here. Another way to do it is you could simply just you could use Stanlin. I'll show you how to do that. So then I pipe it, code, output, so address. So we'll check to see if these are the same. This is the one I tested. I didn't test this one, so we can compare to see if they're the same. Oh, they look the same. So let's click that guy and that guy, and you can see it has way more data, and by default it's 159, 150. Remember, this is using the size 3. So if we zoom in here, you can zoom in as much as you want. You see it's just coded, so they're exactly the same. So there you go. I actually learned something as well. So read the manual. I did read the manual before I did this. Now I actually read the manual live, and I was able to figure things out. So there you go. So you can see here they're exactly the same. So if you scan this, it will put, if you scan it on, say, your phone or device that has a scanner, you'll be able to depending on the type of the software there, it should do a prompt to ask you to put this in your address book, and I'll show you that to you. So we're done here on the command line. If we go back to the article, by the way, be sure to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments for more frequent content. So if we go here to look at some of the screenshots, I'll show you. You see on the phone here, what happened is I used my phone to scan this QR code, and you see it comes up and said open this link. So I can open the link if that's what I want. And then when I scanned the V card, you see what happens. It on the phone, you see it says it wants to add it to the contacts. So that's one way to. And then depending on how many contacts are on the phone, it will ask you. For example, I do have, for example, I think a Gmail account, and I have my own Nextcloud account, and might have another one locally. So it finds them. It will ask you where you want to add it. However, I'll show you how you can do all this in an app. I said coming up very, very soon. Just be aware. Actually, tomorrow I'll start making the app, so you can follow along for that. Okay, so that's the end of the coding part of the tutorial. As I said, this library, Libqrencode, it's a free and open source. This is the license used, the LGPL. That's a GNU Lesser General Public License, and it's a copyleft license. So be aware of that. But it's free and open source, allows distribution, modification, making derivatives proprietary. Just consult the license for more specific details. And also live streams. You just go to the watch live, and then you can see the current and the upcoming live streams with the date and estimated time. If you do enjoy this, consider supporting me. Purchase one of my WordPress plugins at ojambo.com. Enroll in my programming courses at ojamboshop.com. Buying my programming books on Amazon. Search for Edward Ojambo. Links in the description. hiring me for your programming and app development needs at ojamboservices.com, or you can become a donor. You can see donate here at ojambo.com/donate, or much better, in the header, I have a donate and a specific icon just for the donating. Okay, that's it, and I'll see you in the next one.